We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. We got some.
Or if you put it like a cone underneath if you didn't want to do it sideways.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't let us do it sideways. And we're live, and we're. Guess what? We are live. This is the Beatdown with Friends event podcast. I got enough by my tongue. Just make sure it's green in the back, and we're good. We make shit happen. Chicken salad out of chicken shit.
We're live now. I got a green light.
All right. We are live. UFC Mexico, the Beatdown with Friends. It's too high. You can't see us, but we'll talk right here. We don't mind. This is Mike Franco, Cage Minds. We're live on Cage Minds YouTube page. We're having technical difficulties on with the Streamlabs, with the Now Print Streamlabs. So we just went live with the straight through the YouTube page. You're making us stand up the whole fight. Do what you gotta do is what you just told me. Goodness gracious.
Note to self, I'll bring the tripod next time.
I know, really. That's what we gotta do.
Straight on view.
Hey, good thing I brought these because I wasn't gonna bring them tonight. And I said, you know, I'm gonna throw them in the bag. So we threw them in the bag. Right now we're watching.
We got a women's strawweight fight going on. Yasmin Jauregui and I am being horrible here, forgetting his last name.
Hughes.
Sam Hughes. I was going to say Sarah Hughes. That's my bad. It's Sam Hughes. First round just ended.
Ooh, they're going after each other. I love when the girls go after each other, man. I mean, it's amazing to watch these girls go from Gina Carano, all those other girls that were trailblazers for these ladies, and see them evolve.
Yeah, now we're getting to where we're seeing multiple skill sets. You remember back in the day where it was specialist.
Wrestling, you know, things like that. You had the Cookie Monster wrestling. You had Gina with her Muay Thai. You know, you had certain people with certain backgrounds, and that was it. Now you're seeing the whole blend of them, and that it's an amazing thing to see. It's the progression we saw with the guys, early 2000s, mid 2000s, and now you're seeing a whole different level with the ladies.
Yeah, now you're going to see it where they're gaining these full skill sets, and this is a really interesting fight because Jauregui is a upcoming prospect that many people have been looking at for a while. She's coming off of a first round knockout loss at the inaugural UFC Noche event. She's looking to rebound from that shocking defeat. On the other side, Hughes lost her first 4 fights in the UFC, and now she's won like 3 of her last 4. So it's a tale of 2 different stories. One with a lot of momentum, the other with a lot of promise and potential.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, here they go.
And like a lot of the female Mexican fighters, Jauregui, you can see her boxing fundamentals. That's where her strength lies. She wants to stand in that pocket and exchange with you.
We're live on Cage Minds YouTube page. We're also here at
Dapper Barber Parlor. You guys come by and bring sexy back. 5836 Osuna Road Northeast, 884-4647.
Right? We'll get the camera. We'll show you around in a little bit.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I don't know much about these 2 fighters, man, but these girls are getting it.
Like I said, Jauregui, top prospect. Hughes, she's been around for a while, fought in the LFA, won a regional title, came up on the Contender Series, has much more UFC experience. But Jauregui, Mexican fighter, bigger prospect, the younger fighter. Technically, I'd consider her the sharper striker also.
Okay, I see it right now, man. Like I said, these Mexican fighters, especially at home, man, they fight with a lot of pride. So I wouldn't put it past that they just go ahead and sweep the whole night, man. I'm gonna call that out right now.
Let's start off 1-for-1 good with Manuel Torres getting the submission in the first fight over Chris Duncan. I had Torres winning that fight. I didn't think he was going to do it in that quick a fashion, though. And yeah, now you can see Jauregui. She's starting to get her longer strikes on. Her combinations going. She busted Hughes up on the nose, and she's starting to land those longer combinations.
She's looking very slick. She looks like she's starting to get her flow here in this fight right now.
Actually, guys, we can sit down because they're seeing about this much of us right now, so we're good. We can sit
All right, cool.
because they just went
Kind of
by.
see us, right?
Kind of see us. Maybe they might
Kinda
see
sorta.
the roof, but we're getting the tripod set up, guys. This is what happens when you go live sometimes.
Working out the kinks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get my other mic to go on. I don't think I'm getting any luck, but that's okay. We still got yours. You got yours. You have yours. I think you can pick me up. I got a loud mouth. So we're good to go.
So did it surprise you today? Francis Ngannou just left. Didn't get in the cage. No face-off with Renan Barão. I'm pretty sure that PFL would have liked it.
I think it's a bunch of BS. I think they're trying to keep him. I think they're trying to save face PFL in that sense. I don't think he's going to go back. He wins against Anthony Joshua. Why would he go back? They're going to pay him that kind of money? You ain't going to pay him $20 million, $30 million.
What are we talking about? A top 5 international boxer. If he wins, I don't see him back. I don't see him back in the MMA scene, honestly.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. I really, really don't. Is this way? Maybe. Nope. We're getting the tripod. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
Put the wood behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
why would he? I mean, is there a real?
the whole thing would be is if the people that control the money, if you're the people there at Saudi Arabia calling the shots, whatever prince or whoever, if you want to see him in a cage, he'll go fight in a cage. That's where all the money
talks.
comes from.
Yes,
Exactly.
money talks, definitely.
But I just don't see him. I think there's too many boxing matches that can happen. You have the WBO champion, the one that knocked out Joe Joyce from
Zhang, I think.
Zhang from China. He goes to China and fights Zhang.
Multi-million-dollar thing, also
You're
massive
not going
money.
to get the kind of money in the cage. You're just not. You know, and that's why these guys are starting to transition to boxing.
Well, I wonder then, do you think PFL gained enough just from being associated with Francis Ngannou to make their endeavor worth it? Because you were talking about the PFL MENA. Well, you're not getting that North African part of it if Francis Ngannou never signs with them.
Right, but he's never even fought with them either.
No.
But he's hung out a bunch of times.
But that's what he can do in Africa for them. You know, in North Africa. He can be that face. And he's got training partners. You never know who he's got behind him. You know, it could be. You don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because like I said, Tyson Fury has already said that he wants another shot at Francis. So after he fights Usyk, he wants him twice, Anthony Joshua, and then he wants Francis, and then he said he's retiring. So we'll see.
Has he
what
fought
happens.
Joshua yet? He has not fought Joshua, correct?
No.
That's in
No.
2 weeks?
No.
No, I'm talking about.
He's talking about.
I'm talking about Tyson.
Oh, Tyson, no. Tyson and Joshua,
they've been
that one.
dancing around each other forever.
It's been one of those, maybe we will, maybe we won't, but they haven't yet. It would be great if they did, especially for the UK. That's going to be
Oh, that'd be
80,000,
huge.
90,000 people in a soccer stadium.
Easily.
Easy.
Definitely.
Massive. But maybe if you're PFL, the best thing you can say is, well, Francis declined to fight Renan Barão. That's the best way you can try to build up one of your own stars, I guess, is, well, we gave Francis every option to prove he's still the best heavyweight in the world, and he didn't take it. So you have to do something if you're PFL with that notoriety of Francis to try to build up the guys that you have under the heavyweight division right now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, because you look like Vadim Nemkov looked good today, but he's a Fedor protege. I don't know if he's going to draw more notoriety because
Well, it's still in the same sense, man. UFC is the number one promotion. Okay, he is not fighting for UFC anymore. You know what I mean? The best heavyweights, I believe, fight in the UFC, and that's just not going to happen.
In MMA.
That's what I'm
More-
talking
more
about.
MMA.
That's what I'm talking about.
Again, I don't know if John Jones is the best there. I haven't been.
I don't know
won
who the
one
best
fight.
heavyweight.
Yeah.
in
Right now.
MMA is right now? That's a very
Right now,
hard question because
it absolutely is.
Francis has been gone for how long? John round through Surreal, but we felt like that wasn't much of a competition.
Yeah.
Is it Tom Aspinall? He beat the other guy that we could say was the best, Sergey Pavlich. Pavlich had done enough damage to credibly earn a title shot, and Aspinall waxed him easily.
Right.
Very easily. I don't know. These two girls are going at it, though. I can tell you that.
Yes, they are. They're fighting.
Ooh, throwing those kicks.
And Ryan Bader did enough to be in the conversation, and Henna Ferreira put him down with one punch. I mean, that's what 6'8" will do for you.
Man, that was a dirty knockout. What was it? Almost like one punch, basically. I mean, it could have been technically one
There we go.
punch, and
Those leg
He
kicks
went
are
out.
taking a toll.
is Ryan Bader done?
Ryan Bader's done. I think that was his big payday. He was hoping he could parlay the victory into maybe that Ngannou fight or some other big opportunity.
Could you imagine,
But-
imagine him getting crushed by Francis?
That it would have been an inevitability, yeah. But for $2 million, I think he would have did it.
So again, you just said $2 million. So if Francis is going, we'll go back to boxing. Francis is getting 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. Why would you go back to?
What did he get paid the last fight?
I want to say it was like close to $20 million.
Yes,
$20 million.
$20 million,
Oh, yes.
if not more, to
Right.
fight
I mean,
Fury.
there's no point.
And that's the Conor McGregor situation.
Exactly.
Right.
Why go back?
Well, the thing with Conor McGregor, who else is he going to fight in the boxing ring that's going to create that much buzz? I don't think it would have happened again.
The Pauls. One of them.
Maybe.
I think that could generate some good. I think it'll generate good pay-per-view money. It may not be base money, but they'll get people to watch. They'll get eyeballs to see it.
And it's such a ridiculous size disparity anyway. Connor bulked up as much as he can. It's like 180 pounds. And a Paul brother, as small as they can get down, is like 195 pounds.
Well, I think it's ridiculous that he's trying to fight Michael Chandler at 185.
I wonder if he can walk it around.
155 pounder, soaking wet.
I don't know, man. Conor bulked up pretty good, man. I got to say, he was
Yeah,
around the 200-pound range,
There's no
is what I would guess.
USDA.
USDA.
There's no USADA
There's
anymore
no
either.
USADA coming
Oh.
after him or checking on him or doing anything. So
Right.
it's the UFC, and I think he's playing a numbers game with them. He's got his forged stout, his forged brew house in Ireland. He's got his proper 12. We just saw the commercial for that.
Right.
He's got money for Money Mayweather fight.
Right.
That's going to be generational money.
He lives on a giant yacht. He doesn't
Yeah.
even like go to like a house anymore.
No.
We're gonna live on the sea.
Yeah,
That's how rich
hang
they
out
are.
with his kids.
And
Well,
he's on
that
the
just
boat
kind
all
of
day.
takes the hunger away. You know what I mean? Unless they give him something super, super sweet, I don't even know if we're going to see him in the cage again.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that.
I think he likes to keep his name out there. How do you feel about that?
I think he likes to be famous. He likes to cause a stir. He knows that he can push everyone's buttons because he is that big of a draw, and there's no bigger payday than fighting Conor McGregor if you're an MMA fighter. So he likes pushing the buttons. He likes being talked about. It strokes his ego, but he doesn't have the desire to go back in the gym and put in a full camp and try to take on Michael Chandler, which I think would be at 170 because he's not trying to cut all that weight. So they would, do it just
And
above
I thought
lightweight.
I thought he said 185, so they could go at 175.
Either way, I
That's
think it
what I
will
thought.
be
'Cause
170.
I don't think it's gonna be 70 because I don't think he wants to go to an actual legit weight. That's what I feel.
Well, I mean, it's more than likely that he's not going to be over here trying to make a championship run either. You know,
No,
and
he-
this is like a fight, cash grab. Okay, I win, whatever. Maybe BMF or something of that nature, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't even depends. I mean, I don't think he wants to fight Justin Gaethje.
Well,
So that's a really violent man that throws really hard leg
This
kicks.
is what I thought because he said unretired Jorge Masvidal. I thought those two were gonna match up for his BMF title.
I thought that was an inevitability
That's what
for
I
a
thought
while.
the 300 was gonna be. That's what I honestly thought it was gonna be. That fight right there. When he said unretired, now they're saying that it's gonna be Nate and Jorge fighting in a boxing match.
Well, I had seen that rumor for a little bit that
Yeah.
Jorge was trying to
So
work
that
on that
was
for
not
his
set
own.
up yet because I had heard
game
about
bred
that as well.
promotion.
No, it's not set up. I guess they're trying to figure out Game Bread and then Real Fighting Inc. They got all their promotions now, and they're figuring it out. That's the thing that a lot of these guys are starting to figure out. They make their own promotional companies. Yeah, they're gonna have to front a little bit of the money up front, promotional posters, photos,
Advertising, everything.
advertising. but the back end with boxing money is just different than MMA.
Definitely. Well, I mean, UFC runs MMA. Dana White runs UFC. You know what I mean?
TKO runs UFC.
Well, I mean, just what I'm saying right
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? They do not pay their fighters nearly as much as they should.
No.
I don't believe so.
No, they don't, and that's where the class action lawsuits. It's going to change things. It really will.
I really
change
hope
things.
so because
There
you know
was
what
a
I mean.
lot of
I
fighters
watched the fight
testifying
because
last
of the
week.
fighters.
Yeah.
I watched the fight because of the fighters. You know, this is why this is here. This is why UFC is what it is because of the fighters.
Yeah,
They need to give them guys those money that they deserve.
absolutely. Like you said last week, a lot of fighters testified, and I don't think TKO wants this on their radar. They got the WWE. They're already dealing with Vince and his shit that happened with his situation. They don't need another black eye with the fighters because they're gonna entangle TKO with it, even though TKO wasn't part of it at that time. They own it now. It's going to be part of their conversation. I think they're going to try and get rid of it.
And they're trying to grow faster than
Yes.
that. Than they're trying to deal with that because you can already see with The Rock being on the board of TKO, it's only a matter of time before that USFL that they just created, where the US it's UFL because the USFL and the XFL merged.
Merged.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time before TKO adds that to their portfolio. It's only a matter of time before they've officially announced that PBR goes into the portfolio because Endeavor
PBR as
owns.
well?
Yeah, well, Endeavor already owns PBR,
Yeah.
but TKO, Endeavor broke off and made UFC and WWE TKO. So then they'll eventually have to move all these sports entities probably over to under TKO banner
I think
also.
that's why they're
Wow.
pushing the stocks. I got an update saying that they're raising money now to get more stock options. So I get all the press releases from TKO.
Yeah, so you still get all the press releases?
Yeah, some of
So
them.
how did you like seeing that they're in the rally car industry also now?
Yeah, they're moving. I mean, it's bigger than what just the fight. And just so you know, Mexico's 2-0 on the main card.
Yes.
Yasmin won.
And I think it was either June. I don't think it was June. I think it was actually December when I was in Vegas. The day before Media Day. We didn't make it out there for this, but they sent us, if you wanted to RSVP to a rugby press conference, because so the way it works is the UFC, how they expanded in Australia, was promoting during rugby games because rugby is massive there.
Huge.
So
Yes.
that league is like, hey, give us the kickback to promote us, kind of how the NFL is going to Europe. Rugby wants to come to America. They have a rugby game in a couple months set up in Las Vegas between two of the major entities. Well, who's bringing them to Las Vegas? Who's helping all of this?
It's-
The UFC,
Yeah,
TKO,
TKO.
Endeavor.
So I mean, these guys have a legitimate argument. Pay us if you pay me, And that I hate to say it that way, but that's what these guys' gripe is. And you see all these boxing guys getting paid, and it's like, come on, these guys deserve what they're getting. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for what they're at, billions of dollars. What is it going to 24 billion? I think by the end of this year.
Wow.
I think that's what they're hoping for.
I just know that revenue goes up like $100 million each
Yeah,
year. It went
it's-
from like
yeah.
124 to 224
Yeah, what do you
to
think?
324 million a year. Like, well, profit is obviously going through the roof. But the other people on the other side of the argument, they always say, well, look at Bellator. They paid their fighters and they couldn't wait to sell the promotion.
Well, that was Paramount. That's another parent company that's big, and they were already getting rid of Showtime boxing, so of course they're going to get rid of them. It's only natural. Look, speaking of Michael Venom Page, we're seeing a commercial right now, a Bellator crossover.
Hype up his debut at
Yeah.
UFC 299.
They went crazy for him. Look at him. But I'm curious. Are they going to show? Oh, nope. I thought that was the Bellator cage. I was like, how do they do that? And I thought they did show some of his footage from Bellator. If I'm not wrong, maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know.
I haven't seen it yet. I know what they are showing us is the old Cage Warriors footage,
Yes.
and they own Cage Warriors.
Yeah. And Karate Combat last night. It's on UFC Fight Pass. It's in Mexico. It's piggybacking off of the UFC. You don't think they have some kind? Dean Thomas was the play-by-play guy in there with Bass Rutten, talking to all the fighters. Pareja was there hanging out. You know, they had UFC guys there. What do you think they're doing?
The night before I went to UFC 296, I went to LFA at the Palms, and I was talking to Gilbert Melendez, Alan Joban, Michael Chiesa. I was one of 4 media members there, while about 20 others were across town for the Karate Combat event that night. That was Benson Henderson versus Anthony Pettis. So it was a UFC Fight Pass takeover Friday, Saturday, no matter where you were in Vegas.
And that's an interesting thing all in its own. Fight Pass. I mean, they got all these smaller promotions. They're keeping it right there, the revenue on the Fight Pass.
Well, I think UFC has always been, next man up.
Where's the remote?
Oh,
We're about to lose the
still
TV.
watching. Yeah, we're still watching.
Why is it asking if we're still watching?
Oh, we're streaming. UFC
Gotta move
Plus
now.
or ESPN Plus. Jeez Louise.
Don't ask again. Thank you. Just like on the Netflix. Yeah, it's Netflix. We're chilling.
Yeah. O'Malley versus Vera too.
That was a hand-picked fight by Sean O'Malley for him to get his revenge for hurting his leg.
So do you-
and he feels like he can blow Vera out of the water.
You can.
I favor him in the fight because Vera is such a slow starter. He's so violent and he hits so hard, but he's such a slow starter that you could see him going down 2 rounds pretty easily, and then you don't know what happens in that
It's
fight.
almost like
the
what
next
happened
3.
to Sandhagen. You know what I mean? Like, it almost seemed like he never got started in that fight until about the 4th round. And if he does that against Sean O'Malley, you know what I mean? Good luck. You're gonna have a long night. I want Vera to win. I really do, and I think that if he gets after it right away, he has a good shot. But like you said, being the slow starter that he is, he goes down 2-0 or 0-2, excuse me. It's going to be hard for him to catch back up.
Did you see that? The Rojas Jr. fight got canceled due to illness.
Oh, Rojas Jr. is ill and the fight's canceled. That's disappointing, especially for all them in Mexican
Definitely.
budding young superstar. I was surprised by that matchmaking because Tiburcios was a Ultimate Fighter winner, and we've seen him fighting for well over a decade. To take on a guy like Rojas that's like 4 years in the game, I thought that was gonna. And with Tiburcios being a grappler, we saw what he did against Steve Garcia.
Yeah.
This was gonna be a test. So.
Oh, yeah. And we were just talking about that with Rojas, and I met him when I was down in Clovis scouting another fighter for a different promotion that we were just talking about. And Rojas was probably like 11, 12 years old. And he comes up, "Sir, I'm going to be in the UFC." I brushed him off. I'm not rudely, but every kid tells me they're going to be in the UFC. Not in the other promotion, not the second-rate promotion that I'm working with, but for the UFC. He's about 11, 12 years old, and then to see him make it this up here, it was just amazing to see. But there's man strength, and then he's still growing into that. And
Right.
like we were talking right before this, we aired.
Just with his size as well, too, I don't think that he's going to stay at the weight class
No.
that he's at. There's no way that he can. You know what I mean? Once he does grow up into his man body, you know what I mean? He's going to have to end up jumping up in weight.
Yeah,
I went down to some of those fight nights in Clovis. I never saw him. I was telling Eric Sloan after that, I'm like, why did you never introduce me? Why did this kid never fight on one of the cards here? I never
he's
saw
a
him.
little kid. He was a child, man. He was like 11, 12 years old. He couldn't fight unless you're in Roswell fighting, and you're saying you're 18 and you're only 16 years old, and that was what's his name? He fights in Combates. Oh, he brought him up from Roswell.
Oh, Andres.
Yeah, he was only 16 years old, man. He lied to the athletic commission, told him he was 18, and he would fight in Roswell. It was hilarious. Man, he was a 16-year-old kid knocking people out left and right, and hey, it doesn't matter. He's already in Combates Americas, and he's fighting for them, and so it don't matter. I can let that out.
He's past that. He was fighting for Fury, actually, on Fight Pass his last couple fights.
Right. I'm sorry. See, look, I'm out of the game for a while. I'm back. But yeah, but yet back then there was a lot of guys like that were 15, 16 years old, and the commission didn't even know. And I didn't know at the time what if they had to show a birth certificate, or if they just wrote down their name and their age. My buddy LaRon ran the commission at that time. I think he just like
And what is this?
whatever.
This is an amateur commission, is an amateur promotion, or is a professional promotion?
No, they had professional fights. He was a professional fighter, but you have to be 18 to fight.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta get licensed, right? You gotta go through the athletic commission. To
Yeah,
get
but
licensed,
I
right?
don't think you ever had to show your birth certificate back then. So you could say you were this age and walk in there. It's just wild, man, because you would see this kid, Andres, go in there and lay grown men out. I mean, I'm talking 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 16 years old. Boom! He had that boxing background.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew he was going to be something special. There was a couple other guys down there that would do the same thing. It was interesting, man. It was an interesting time. I think Rojas is going to be something special. I think it's going to take him more time than what everybody wants him to do. But he'll be there.
I hope he gets there. It's not
You don't think
him.
he will?
It's not him. It's the fact that he's at 135 in the UFC already. And that's the deepest division on the planet. I'm like, you can't find a promotion that doesn't have a good 135 division. Bellator, PFL, one championship. 135 is that deep around the world where I'm like, he's not going to have many opportunities for the fights that he had at the beginning here to get that momentum rolling, to get everything going in the right direction. Also, it kind of depends who he ties himself to, because I know it's his family,
Yeah.
is his team, so it depends who else they work with, because I've seen them at the PI a lot.
Yeah, he does got to grow, and he is staying at the PI. He says he likes working out there. Well, it's free. Speaking of the PI, they opened it this weekend in Mexico. Dana White came out and said he wants the young Mexican kids to go in to the PI, train MMA, learn MMA. Why? And me and Don were just talking about this right before you showed up. They want to try and strike gold and find the Canelo for MMA. Could you imagine the kind of pay-per-view numbers Canelo does if they could find somebody that can do that in MMA?
No, it's like, when can they find somebody from India when they're looking to reach the nation of 1 billion people? You talk about how hungry the UFC is to get down to Africa. Last week on the press conference, Dana White's talking about and scouting with the media locations to get them to Madrid, Spain, talking about there's an 80,000 seat arena. Let's go.
One of the Spanish sports guys was talking to him and telling him, like, letting him know exactly that there's that sports arena down there that's 80K.
80,000 people. And you think there's about 2 Spanish fighters, Joel Alvarez and Ilia Topuria, in the UFC. Well, they have a champion. We're going to Spain.
And he's asking him, he's like, is it indoor or outdoor? And he goes, indoor. He goes, we'll be there.
You know, they so badly want to strive to get into the international level like boxing is, you know what I mean? But, you know, we're also talking about a sport that's been relevant for, 25 years?
Yeah.
As opposed to a sport that's been here for over 100.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's going to take a little bit of time. They're pushing their way into there, and that's where they want to get to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm guessing that they will. This will be a large international sport one of these days, you know what I mean? And that's what they're striving to get to, because just like we said, the money that it generates, that they can pay their fighters and all this stuff, when you get the worldwide pay-per-views as opposed to, you know, just having the majority in America, is way bigger.
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing. Would you consider it the fastest growing sport right now?
I think so, if we're talking about the world, because I don't know if football is really expanding anymore. It's the most popular sport in the world. I don't know if it's expanding anymore. And
It's difficult.
They're trying. They're going.
Yeah, it's very difficult,
to
though, man.
England, but it's
You know, they play every single week.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to, you know what I mean, get over to all these different places within 1 week, you know, unless they start using the bye week in some sort of crazy way to do it? It's too difficult.
But what
It's
about
too
the
short of a
NBA?
season.
What about the NBA? Do you think they're global? Do you think
they're definitely global.
But
We
it
even
took them
saw
time, right?
it took them a lot of time. They barely, I
Michael
think,
Jordan effect?
you saw
1992.
another
That's when it hit boom.
preseason game, I believe, in Paris just this past preseason,
Yeah.
and they got to, I think it was Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia themselves, and we know that how big China has been for them. But yeah, basketball might be one of those other games that's expanding as much, but I don't think anything is growing the way that MMA is, with opening up new countries all the time, and you're hearing of new talent coming from new countries or them trying to go to new countries.
Pickleball, man. The number one fastest growing sport in the USA.
You know what? I keep hearing that though. Like seriously,
Yes.
no, they're
Yes.
talking about it all the time. I'm like, this is what they like.
Well, another thing too, though, man, it's like kind of, from little kids all the way to the geriatric level that people can play. You know what I mean? So there's a very wide range.
Absolutely. This is the Beatdown Podcast. Beatdown with Friends live event podcast. We're watching UFC Mexico live on ESPN Plus. We're watching it. We're conversating ourselves. We're inside Dapper Barber Parlor. I'm with my man, CageMinds.com, Micah Franco. I'm with Dom, the owner of Dapper Barber Parlor. And I'm Sal Mora with the Beatdown. And we're just having some fun. We're talking UFC. We're talking boxing. We're talking the fights that are live. We're having some good time. We're eating nachos. We're drinking a couple Michelobs and Modelo's.
Having a good time, man. I like it here. I love doing this.
This is fun. I'm glad. I'm so thankful you said. And at first, I was trying so hard to get a spot to watch it, like at a bar, restaurant. I tell you what, I will never go anywhere else because as long as we're welcome here, this is like the perfect setting, man. We're chill, we're relaxed. We don't have to worry about somebody throwing a drink on. Besides me.
We know who's going to get out of here. We know most likely to throw a drink.
Let's not say we were slurred a little bit the first show.
It was fun.
We are me and all my personalities.
We.
We a few times in here. What do you think about this next fight?
Lightweight fight coming up next. Daniel Zahubar, 14-1, taking on Francisco Prado, 12-1. Zahubar, 10 finishes, 7 by knockout, while Prado has 12 finishes, 100% finishing rate at 6-6, half down the middle, knockouts and submissions.
Real quick, while they're introducing the fighters, bring your pops up. Let them tell a joke. Bring your pops up, man. Let him sit right there. I want to hear that joke. He told,
Someone's getting called up and being put on the spot.
He said the joke. You got to hear it. Come sit down and introduce yourself. He told a joke earlier.
All right, everybody. This is my dad, Ralph. Introduce yourself, Pops. Sit down.
I'm Ralph.
That's the joke. Just kidding.
Not that kind of build-up. Come on, you need a little more.
I'm kidding.
All righty. We got Mr. Chavez here. He's sitting up in the corner at the old nursing home. The nurse comes over, asks him, "What's the matter, Mr. Chavez?" He says, "My Winky died." He says, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." Next day, he's walking down the hall. The nurse comes over to him. "Mr. Chavez, your Winky's sticking out." "I know, today's the viewing." Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for bringing that on. The viewing. Yeah.
Saw way too much there.
So I don't know much about either one of these fighters, but like I said, I'm going with my gut feeling on Mexico taking over the entire card, man. They're going to win each one.
So Zahubar in the red from Mexico. It's won his last 2 fights and over some great competition. A unanimous decision over Landon Venata. Trains right here in Albuquerque at Jackson Wink, who's trained here many years. I think he's over at Ray Borg's gym now. Also trains in Colorado sometimes. And he also submitted Christos Yagos in his last fight, a veteran from California. So Zahubar, very good all over the place. And you see this big frame for the division.
Yes, definitely.
Prado, I told you, he has 6 submissions, 6 knockouts, but you can tell he wants to box and knock you out.
Right. But I really do like the length of Zahubar. As long as he's able to use that length to his advantage, I think he'd be doing well. It seems like Prado is able to get in a little bit on that overhand right. He seems to be getting on the inside, but I do like the length and the frame of Zahubar at this weight class.
Who in WWE can cross over to the UFC besides Brock?
Oh, well, besides Brock and like Bobby Lashley, guys that already have MMA backgrounds, man, that'd be a really hard one, actually.
I was actually thinking about it. And I said, you know who? Chad Gable.
Another guy with an Olympic level
Olympic level
grappling
wrestler.
background.
True Olympic level. I just don't know if he has injuries, like kind of like Kurt Angle had injuries where he had that broken freaking neck, and he really did. But like he would be another one if he wasn't injured. I'm just thinking about this crossover. It blew my mind. Like honestly, it has me tuning in to WWE events. I haven't done it since I was younger, teens maybe. I'm 41. Get out of here! Like, and now I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in to both. So you're seeing, like you said, you're seeing that casual go back and forth now, and they're hooking me. They're hooking me like a little fish. So that's why I asked, like, what guy would, and what guy here? Michael Chandler?
Michael Chandler would be a good one. I always feel like, with crossing over the other way, going to WWE, I feel like it's a little hard because of the size disparity. Because these guys are never going to look like the pro wrestlers.
Right.
Because pro wrestlers, a lot of them are 240 pounds, 260 pounds, ripped up muscle. So it always leads me to more think of a heavyweight. That's why Brock Lesnar was such a natural transition. That'd be like saying, I don't know, Tom Aspinall again. He's the guy that has the look, the charisma that one day could do it.
The acting skills as well, man. I mean, WWE is always about promoting themselves. You know what I mean? They're always hyping things up. There's a huge acting portion in this as well. You know what I mean? If you're just talking about the physical look and the, being able to actually do the sport, that's only a small portion of it when it comes to the WWE.
Yeah. Well, I think like Israel Adesanya, he's a guy that's methodical, well thought out, athletic. He might look a little small though. He's like 200 pounds soaking wet compared to some of those guys.
6'4" though. I mean, come on, he's got the height.
What about Connor?
Connor, definitely. He would look small, but his personality, his charisma, his aura would make him larger than life.
I agree with that.
And then them going to like Ireland, he sell out himself.
Because that's part of what I think hurt Ronda Rousey in WWE.
You may see that right there, man. You know what I mean? He fits the bill right
Ronda
there.
couldn't talk.
She couldn't talk, exactly.
She couldn't talk, and the truth is, she couldn't take the grind. That's a grind of a lifestyle. 360 days out of 365 days a year.
It's a lot of road time.
Road. I got sick and tired of being on the road. 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I got sick of it for 6 weeks.
Well, these guys do over 300 shows a year, man. I mean, let's.
Yeah, I couldn't even
taxing.
do that, and I was ready to come home. A year and a half, I was done. I was tired. I missed my kids.
Now, also, I don't know if you remember if you were watching when The Shield was there together in WWE.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dean Ambrose, he's now All Elite Wrestling, a different company on TNT. But talking about guys that could cross over, he's won like the last 2 Naga heavyweight tournaments up in Ohio where he lives. Yeah, so he's like a real grappler.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that from Naga, where I was like, wait, hold on. They were like, of course we want to promote this a little bit.
Oh, and the Battlegrounds BJJ guys, we need to get them hooked up with you after the show. We try to get them on today. Technical difficulties, Josh's birthday, my producer. So we're working through it today because we got notified last minute. So I apologize, Battlegrounds BJJ. I will get you hooked up with Michael Franco with CageMinds.com. I told you I'd be out there next week. I'd give you 2 hours of my time. We'd go live. So Josh is going to go with me. I'm going to hold this feet to the fire. Hopefully Micah can make it too. I'll talk to him after the show. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. But
what day is this?
March 2nd. But it's a grappling tournament next Saturday. And the guys were supposed to come on and talk about March 2nd, Battlegrounds BJJ. Again, I apologize, guys, fellas. I know you guys are making your debut here in Albuquerque. Again, last minute changes. It happens sometimes. But I'll go out there personally. I'll go live for a couple times. We'll talk about your Battlegrounds BJJ. Plus, I'm going to give Micah your guys' phone number. He'll get in contact with you guys. He'll be able to do some interviews, throw you up on the #1 site for combat sports, for sports entertainment, CageMinds.com. Let's go back to this fight right now.
So, guys, what was your thoughts on the first round?
I thought Zahuba with his kicks was keeping Prado at range and did a good job.
I believe so. Prado was getting in a little bit. As long as he keeps his range,
Ooh,
Zalubar.
don't throw so reckless.
I believe that He's going to continue.
Backing up.
The first one was, for me, was a little bit hard to judge. They were exchanging pretty well,
Yeah.
but like you said, the kicks kept him at range.
He's
wearing on
touching
it as well.
Yeah. That
Caused
late,
nasty damage to that right
He's
eye.
not-
Yes.
he's not playing into his strength of his height. He's not going at him to battle him at his level. He's staying long. He's throwing them kicks. He's keeping long with the jab.
Yep.
He's tearing up his face.
Big time. Yeah, that right eye looks pretty beat up right now.
Look, he can't even touch him. He has a nice range. I like it.
Good control of his distance. And then
Yeah.
Prado also keeps pulling up. Zubar takes that step back, and he's worried about the counter, so he doesn't continue trying to press.
I feel like Prado's going in just a little bit recklessly.
Oh, that knee touched the chin. Got the crowd to react.
Yep. He's ugly. His eye is bleeding. Hey, man, I noticed you talked to Austin Trout. You have an interview up on your website. Any kind of quick hits that we can get people to click on cageminds.com? Listen to the new BKFC champion, Austin Trout, who's also a former world boxing champion. Anything?
Talks about the journey of what it took to come back from no one thinking that he could ever get to the professional ranks that he did, of winning a title, to telling everybody he would get back to win another world title. He had a couple choice words for Mike Perry, who he wants to fight next, whether he wants a big name challenger to cross over, or if he's willing to fight the rankings. We got to a couple nice little tidbits like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if he wants to mess with Mike Perry. That's a dog. That's a dog. That's a straight dog.
It's almost like the sport was built for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. Mike Perry is very dominant in that sport. You know what I mean? Has beat some good guys. It just seems like he was made for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a street fighting guy, and that's a street fighting sport right there.
And that I don't think his finesse can hold up for a guy like Mike Perry. I just don't see it.
He's going to bring it to him.
Yeah.
You guys are going to need to tune in to see what he said about Mike. Maybe he called him out. Maybe he said something else.
And where do they see this?
This is right here on the same YouTube channel, Cage Minds MMA show. You check it out right here. Also go over to cageminds.com. You know, I also talked to Flip Chavez this past week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I haven't talked to Flip in a long time.
That's been a forever. That me and him used to train together.
You know how many comments I've gotten on that interview? He sounds like Diego.
Well, that's his cousin. Come on, people. That's it. Is he gonna be fighting again?
Yeah, Flip is hoping to get on the next bare knuckle card here in Albuquerque. That's BKFC 59 on March 29th. He said he was in talks with
Is
them.
he still in Texas?
Still in Texas, but said he was going to be relocating back here to New Mexico.
Nice, very nice. It'd be
Cool.
nice to hook back up with him, man. Yeah, we used to train a lot over at Judgment MMA. Him. Let's see who else was there. Shoot, man. Man, just train of thought's already losing it, but getting old, Micah. Getting old. That's what happened to me. I'm
I
getting
seen
old.
Flip in a promotion a long time ago, man,
Yeah.
over at the convention center. Armbarred the dude in the first round and
Oh, yeah.
won the fight. It was a good show.
What do you think?
I think Zalubar is taking care of business, man. Honestly, this second round definitely dominated by Zalubar, if you ask me.
The composure, the slickness, he's just picking apart Prado. Prado tries the spinning entry, gets hit after he's done spinning. Staying at length, just ate a kick to the face.
Mm-hmm.
So you were already outside where I said this, but Zahubar, he's beat Venata and Christos Yago so far for his two UFC wins.
wow.
So yeah, those are some high
so
quality
he's-
wins.
He's definitely some high quality wins. And then
Where is he at in the rankings? I mean, he's got to be somewhere in the top 15, correct?
No, he's not in the top 15. This is he lost his debut on short notice. This would be a third win in a row.
look at
and-
that face.
Prado's close to getting stopped here. That left eye
He's
looks
looking
like there's a
Terminator in the original Terminator where he's pulling out his eyeball in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like right now. It looks like that.
Take it out.
fakeness.
Take it out right now. He doesn't need it anymore. He can't see out of it.
Cut it out. Right? Chop it off.
I think his orbital's got to be broke. They went to press on the orbital, and you saw the nose
Yeah.
just
Ooh,
rush,
yeah.
the blood rush out of his nose.
telltale sign. I'm surprised the doctor's letting it go.
We'll see.
the
The doctor's gonna look.
Well, they're
Hopefully, once they
the rest
start the round.
before they start it, they have to. You would think. Look, they called it timeout right there.
Yeah, they're calling a timeout.
He's gonna check him. It's over. I don't think they're gonna let him, because the second he blows that nose, his eye's gonna puff up.
I think that fighter safety is the better part of discretion at this
Should.
point, and
Sure, this is Mexico. Let's see where they're at. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying they're a new market.
it is a new market. But at least it's a market that the UFC has been putting to use.
Yes.
Because if you've been watching UFC Fight Pass, they have the Lux Series,
Yep.
so they've at least had a promotion that's getting the referees, judges, doctors consistently used. That
No.
has to be broken. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, like you said,
the
he
nose
touched
and the
it.
orbital
He
socket.
touched
Oh.
it right here, and his nose just drained out like it was a faucet.
Oh, they're going to let this
Oh, they
continue.
let this keep going.
Wow, I can't believe the doctor.
Oh, look at the heart of this guy, man.
Is
No
that
quit,
heart?
never said
Is that-
anything.
Is that heart?
Hey, he's gonna get back in there, bro.
Oh.
I mean, what does it take?
Is it stubbornness or
This is the
stupidity?
job of
Yeah.
this is the job of the cornerman. This is when you don't give a shit about your fighter, in my opinion.
Well, there's this weird stigma with not throwing in the towel in MMA, where boxing,
Oh, man.
they are happy to do it.
Protect your guy. This is
I've
brain
never seen
damage.
it personally.
This is brain damage.
Few and far between.
Come on, you know that, Micah. Come on, you can't do that to this guy.
Oh,
Live to fight another day, right?
near miss on the head kick.
He's gonna keep going to that side though, right?
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
definitely going to.
You got to
Target
just keep
into-
working that left hook, left high kick. Oh, it came straight down the middle with a teep.
Straight to the body.
And you have to.
He's hitting him everywhere.
And everybody says, "Oh, why does he go after that?" Well, this is mixed martial arts. This is a fight. You go after the weakness.
So in a strange way, also without Raul Rojas on the card anymore, that might have been the best thing for Daniel Zaludar,
Yeah.
because now he is going to be the star at the post-fight media press conference. He's going to be the unknown that they're looking to give exposure to. Even though we got the two big fights coming up here in a moment, I think that he's going to benefit from not having so much attention put on Rojas after this.
I still don't agree that this corner should be keeping him going.
With what
Yes,
you said,
he's throwing.
especially with the domination of the fight as well.
It's one-sided at this point. I guess you're still giving your fighter a puncher's chance, but
He's not throwing any punches.
yeah, and
We're in round 3. The other guy's up 2-0. You know this as a cornerman. Your experience. Come on.
and I
Get your guy
also
out. Let him rest. Let him heal up. Let him come back. Look at that.
Zaludar just landed a right hand that turned Prado's eye into a tomato. And I was gonna say, for a moment, it looked like also Zaludar wasn't throwing anything for that first 90 seconds.
Yeah.
I think he's like, look at what I've done to this dude. I don't want to hurt him
Yeah.
anymore.
And again, he's the fighter. He's not going to ever protect himself. I hate to say it. He's not going to quit. Most of these guys won't. They don't know that quit. That's why they're in there. Cornerman, do your fucking job. And I'm sorry I said it like that, but God, I've coached. I've been a part of it. I've been in there, in the ring, on the mats, and you got to know when to say when, especially if you're down 2-0 right now. And which he is. You agree, right?
Oh, he's definitely down, and it might be like a 10. It might have been a 10-8 in that last round.
Yes.
Like,
The first
Damage
round, I
is
think
adding
that-
up.
I mean, Prado was doing a lot better in the first round. Zaludar found his range, kicked his ass ever since. But I
And
mean, I don't think that you could ever think that he's going to be able to come back and have a stellar third round and win this fight.
No.
It's.
I mean, it's
you
a
saw him. He was there with his mouth open, man. He looked
Yeah.
drained. He looked like the motivation was just out of his body. His
When-
soul was gone.
when the
already.
doctor touched his face, he drained out of his nose like a faucet. No, it's enough.
So I haven't got a chance to ask you yet. We're leaving, driving away last weekend, and Dana White jumps on IG. Oh yeah, Alex Bejeda's fighting Jamal Hill, and you can go listen to MMA After Hours to hear me and Carlisle argue for about 30 minutes about that announcement. Because I'm just like, how could that not disappoint? No disrespect to Jamal and to Alex. But we were all led to believe, like, UFC 300 main event, this is supposed to be something special. And
Yep.
the fight that was going to headline 301, isn't good enough to headline 300. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. This is supposed to be a special event, just like 200 was. It's the exact same thing. And to say, oh, huge, and to say that fight, that tells me that people told him no.
Well, it looked like it. Well, there's three specific people. You had Islam Mahashev, you had Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Hamzat Chimaev all say, no, we have to celebrate Ramadan. We are not cutting weight during a period of time when we are unable to eat during the day. I mean, that was just going to be putting them behind the eight ball so bad.
Hey, Sal.
Yeah. Keep going, Micah.
UFC unable to pull that power play, and I don't think Dana White's used to hearing guys say no. We know Alexander Volkanovski didn't say no.
Yeah, no, definitely. No is no. And I think it was Connor. I think it was also, I think Nate told him no. I really do. I have a feeling that he went and reached into that well. Nate, I think Jorge said no. I think he tried to put shit together I think he tried to put something big. I think Georges said no. Because he had to reiterate, I'm not coming back. I'm 42 years old. Leave me alone. I'm making Marvel movies. Like, why in the world am I going to get punched in the face for?
And he tried to sign him for a grappling tournament and got injured in the lead up. Had to pull out of that and was commentator instead.
Yeah, and you know, you just got to know when to say when. Just like in this fight, the corner man. Shame on you guys. You guys should have got your guy out in between round 2 and 3. Doctor also should have.
So do you think with the UFC with that, it was more of, well, obviously Endeavor's like, here's your budget, keep to it. You think that they just couldn't get guys to agree to the price that was on the table?
Yeah, I don't think there was anybody that really wanted. They wanted to do it, but they wanted the money. Show me the money.
And then you got to wonder now, Jamal Hill taking the fight. He was going to get it 3 weeks later. Now it bumps it up. And this is him taking the fight the day after. The day after he got cleared to return to full contact training from blowing his Achilles.
He hasn't been fully training. He can't. And I think Alex is going to put him away. I think within 2 rounds, and then he'll go to 301. Break that record.
Have you ever seen anything like what Alex Fajeda is doing in the UFC?
No. Not only in the UFC.
11 fights.
Not only,
11 MMA fights.
Not only in the UFC, but kickboxing.
Yeah.
Look at what he did in kickboxing. And they asked him, after UFC run last night at Karate Combat, would you ever try this? He goes, sure. Could you imagine him in Karate Combat?
All he's done is fight his whole life, man. Grew up a fighter, you know what I mean? And he just beats everybody. You know, what I heard about the last one against Yuri, I just heard about this today. I was talking to Drew. And we put on the old fight. You know, we always put out fights in here. We're checking them out and stuff like that. He told me that after he weighed in at 204 on Friday, that he weighed 237 pounds on Saturday when he walked into the ring.
Blow up. He's a big dude. And
35 pounds?
And could you imagine him winning the championship at 185?
I know. That's what I was saying. How did he get there? What's next? Heavyweight?
Yeah, don't rule that out.
Don't rule that out.
He said that, right? Didn't he say that recently? If I'm not mistaken, he said that he would go up.
He weighs 240. He could go up.
Yeah.
Heck, that was my outside. That was my dark horse. The whole time, I thought they were going to announce the head at Aspinall. Wow. I thought they were going to announce interim title fight just to do something crazy.
Because you know he gets touched. Do you think he can handle a heavyweight's punch?
No, that one I'm a little bit worried about because I don't know if he can handle that. We've seen him get knocked out by Izzy. We don't know if that was a depletion or not.
I think it was a depletion.
I believe so as well.
I think it was a depletion. But what I like about their rivalry is it dates back to kickboxing. And he said it. He goes, I was a drunk in the bar. I was nothing. You kept motivating me to come back and fight him. Speaking to Izzy, he's telling Izzy, come on, let's fight. I'm trying to motivate you. He wasn't disrespecting him. He was saying, hey, you gave me that motivation to get out of the bar.
That guy's a class act, dude.
Yeah.
He is.
I don't like Izzy the way he mocked the kid. He's a child. You're not a child. You're a grown man. Don't mock a kid. Like, come on. That's a dad. Like, you don't do that to the kids. That's the part I don't like. he is colorful. He is out there. He is marketable. Um, I don't know. What do you think about these kids coming up these days with the loudmouth and whatnot? I mean, you've been in this game for a while now. You've seen changes.
They're saying wilder and wilder things, but and it's nothing different.
What if you think about it?
They
man?
eat
Like,
it up.
You know, these guys are trying to market themselves. Just like, you know, Ali did, or, you know, Conor McGregor.
Tyson
or
did it.
Mayweather. Well, that was a different
Black
story. man. We're
shoes.
talking.
Black shorts,
White towel.
white towel, and Tupac right behind him. But that's it. It wasn't him. He didn't talk to anybody else. He just,
Well, what these guys are trying to do, I think, are coming up faster and faster. They want the instant gratification.
Yeah.
They want the quick shit. You know what I mean? What did it take Tyson to get to the thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he fought 10 times in 1 year.
yeah,
You know, like
ESPN cards.
Well,
it was-
look at the Paul brothers. That changed a lot of things. You didn't have to be a fighter to be a famous fighter anymore. You just had to be famous to be a famous fighter.
I will say this: Jake is the one that's boxing, right? I'm confusing them because they're all TKO now and whatever.
Jake boxes, Logan wrestles.
So Jake, I will say this: he has been taking this serious. He really is, because you can't fake it when you start fighting guys that have 20 fights, even 10 fights in professional boxing, and they're 10-0, 12-0, 12-1, whatever they are. You can't fake boxing.
No,
You
you
can't. And you see him going out, moving his whole camp to Puerto Rico, training with legit trainers out there. I gotta say, at first I was like, this dude's a joke. He's gonna go just fight MMA guys. He's actually starting to fight quality guys. I'm not saying they're the best, but he's actually fighting true boxers.
Well, that brings me up to something Donald Sanchez had said one of the last times I interviewed him. He said, back when I was at my athletic prime, I didn't have the money to
Yeah.
train how I needed to or wanted to. But now that he has his roofing business,
Yeah.
he's like, so many more doors and avenues have opened for me. That's why he started this bare knuckle run again, because he's like, I can get the coaches, I can get the supplements, I can get the times I want,
Yeah.
I can go do this and that, and I have the freedom to train now, where before you were like, I got to train and then I got to go do security all night.
Yep.
Right.
And we train at LA kickboxing. In the boxing ring, grappling, rolling around. Me, Dicky Chavez, him, all of us. We'd be rolling around in there while they're doing kickboxing classes, bag classes.
Well, yeah, see,
So how has
that-
changed?
That's what we're saying as well, too, with these guys and what they're getting paid in the UFC. There's probably a lot of them in the lower rankings, you know what I mean? Prelims and stuff like that, they probably still have full-time jobs. You know, they still got to be able to feed themselves, right?
Who do you got, Micah? Yair Rodriguez.
Versus Brian Ortega, I'm
Yeah.
going Yair Rodriguez. Brian Ortega hasn't fought in a year and a half, and he's so injury prone that I'm like, if there's some kind of fluke, freak, something that happened during the fight, it's gonna happen
See, I'm
to Ortega.
gonna agree to disagree. I'm taking T City.
The jiu-jitsu, the power in his hands, you like
I
more?
think so. Just because Volkanovski just ran through Yair.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean-
did you see the war? Obviously, you saw it.
Yeah.
The war between him and Max Holloway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Both of them in the ambulance after the fight. You know what I'm saying? Max Holloway just put away Brian Ortega. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Yair, I think, is more of a dog. I think he's a little bit slicker on his feet.
He is.
So
He's more flash, we'll say. But that could also be dangerous. That could be dangerous for him because he leaves himself open.
Well, we did see the couple moments from the first time they fought. Brian did get Yair down.
Yeah.
That goes any longer, that's probably really bad for Yair.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The jiu-jitsu right there, 101, will choke him out real quick. Armbar him. Submit him. Possibly. We'll see what happens. We're on commercial break right now. I got to thank Goodfellas Pizzeria, home of the huge Mungus Slice, 5844 Osuna Road Northeast, 505-508-5113. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, 2-liter soda, $25.99. They're our food sponsor from time to time. The Beat Down with Friends podcast, live event podcast. We're watching UFC Mexico. We're on CageMinds.com's YouTube page, and we're inside Dapper Barber Parlor. It don't get any better than this.
yes, I'm enjoying myself, man. I love this stuff.
Any other news coming up for us that you can throw out there that's gonna get on the CageMinds.com website here shortly?
Anything breaking? If you guys go to the Bare Knuckle website, there's more additions coming to the BKFC 59 card. I know that Mark Ettenberg, who recently opened up his Kingdom Muay Thai gym here in Albuquerque, he is going to be on that card. You also have, I believe, Anthony Sanchez, who has fought both of the Pettis brothers his first 2 times on the BKFC cards. He's going to be back on there. Wilfredo Santiago's on there. Donald Sanchez, John Dodson in the main event defending the flyweight title. And that's our third of 3 local events here coming up in a short time. You have the Pettis brothers from Albuquerque, Abraham and Angel Baby with Legacy Boxing Promotions. The legacy continues on March 23rd. The following week, March 29th, starting to lose track of everything. That's when we have the Bare Knuckle event.
Yes.
And the next day after that is when you have Fight World at Revel. And I believe that Sal Mora and the Beatdown are going to be there live and in person doing something.
We are talking about it with John Judy. We'll see what happens. It'll be some fun time, but yeah.
So
Stay
they're
tuned.
still adding to that BKFC 59.
Oh,
Yeah, they're still adding. We've only got like 4 or 5. Yeah, there's like 5 now. Got like 5 official.
Okay.
Because I mean, like that's like a month away. You know what I mean? And they're still adding fights to that card.
Any updates from them on their TV deal or anything like that?
Yeah, Wednesday came and passed again without them giving us any of the updates to the announcement. But hopefully this week,
I thought you wanted to come talk.
with them, March 2nd being in Canada this week, Monday, I should be putting out an interview with a fighter that's going to be making his bare knuckle debut.
Dom,
Taking us to somebody from Canada.
Yes, this is Ismail. Just come give us our thought. Come give us our thoughts about this next fight.
Our thoughts
are his
thoughts.
His thoughts, not our
Excuse me.
thoughts.
Your thoughts on this
His
next
thoughts.
fight?
Who's fighting?
It's Yair Romero versus Brian Ortega.
Rodriguez. You said Romero.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
Yair
Yes,
Rodriguez.
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 Oops. Yes, I knew who it was. If I see him, I know who he is. But you know what I mean. This is the second time fighting. The first one was kind of a fluke, injury that happened. You know, it was a dislocation of the shoulder. Who do you got on this fight?
I say Ortega.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know because who won last fight? Was it a tie?
No. Yair won the fight by Well, it was a no contest because of a injury.
Yair won because Yair won by TKO because it was an injury. Brian was trying to pull his arm out of a submission and dislocated his shoulder, fell down, so it was over.
Out of injury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is going to go the same way. I think Ari got it.
Yeah, I thought you just said that
Or, wait.
Ortega was gonna win.
Yeah, Ortega. Well, I mean, it could be a 50-50, honestly, because if it was a elimination because of the injury, it
You
could
never-
be a 50-50. You never
It
know.
didn't go very far.
It
Was it
could
at
go-
the first round or was it the second?
It was the first round. It
Right,
didn't go
right,
that far at all.
right.
So at that point, I said that one of them's a grappler, right?
Yeah,
Ortega.
Ortega's a
gonna
grappler.
be a grappler, right? So yeah, I think Ortega. I don't know, because the first in the what was it, the wild cards, or what is it, the wild cards? The prelims, yeah. A lot of people are wrestlers. There are a lot of grapplers in there. I think they got it. I think Ortega
This is
got
a
it.
high level underrated fight, I believe.
Oh yeah, more than likely, if it's a spectacular finish, you could see the UFC working the winner into a title
I
fight.
agree.
Ilya said last week he doesn't want to fight either one of them, that he'd rather fight some new blood. They're the old guard, but if they win in spectacular fashion, they're that kind of old guard name that sells,
I mean-
that's recognizable, that could get themselves a title shot easily.
Well, Taporia also hasn't fought either one of these guys.
Right. So it would be a fresh matchup for him.
Yeah, so, I mean, and these guys, they've been working their way up the ranks for years, and two good, exciting fighters, both have fought for the title.
But then
I think that they would deserve it. I mean, I don't know where Volk goes after this. You know what I mean? If he's taking some time off or whatever, I don't think that's an instant rematch with Taporia. So it's more than likely going to be somebody brand new fighting for the title at this weight class.
Volk did say he wanted to turn around, come right back. He feels like with the longevity that he had as champion, and not to mention doing the UFC a favor, jumping in there against Islam on,
Yeah.
10 days notice,
Yes.
that he'd like to call that receipt in the favor, and he wants his automatic rematch.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it works out well for him, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. not that quickly anyway. You know what I mean? He really does have to fight. I believe that he has to take a little bit of time off. He's coming back from back-to-back knockouts within 4 months. You know what I mean? You know, you got to get your bearings back. You got to let the brain heal, get that everything back on.
Mentality.
Right, because if you come back in 4 more months, it's probably just going to be another knockout loss.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I'll go to the wild card. The judges, I mean.
You think that this fight's going to go to the judges?
I think I'll go to the judge.
We'll see, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, Ortega got a little bit of ring rust on him as well. That may come into play. Does look excited, does look fresh, but we'll see. Haven't seen him fight in a year and a half.
It's a year and a half away. He's injury prone. He looked good in the fight prior to the Rodriguez fight, but
He did. He looked very good. And that's another thing about him as well. Some fights he just looks so good. He looks like, holy cow, this guy's unstoppable. You know what I mean? He's the next man up there. And then he comes back and it's just not as good of a showing as he had the prior fight. I don't understand it. So with that, I mean, I guess let's see which Ortega shows up on this fight, honestly.
and Rodriguez, I feel like his boxing has come along a lot. We know he's a Taekwondo expert. He throws out all these wild, crazy kicks, but his boxing fundamentally really has gotten a lot better. So
Yeah, he's very unorthodox. They could come from anywhere. The kicks, the punches.
or the elbows, like
Or
what he
the
did against
elbows.
Korean Zombie.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, Korean Zombie most recently has had some bad nights, but, good long run. Shout out to Korean Zombie, you know what I mean? But that was a bad night for him.
It's good to chat with you, man. You still sitting with us. We're gonna dog talk. All right. We all have fun. Sorry, guys. I had to go.
Honestly, this was the fight that I was most excited for on the card, even more than the main event.
Hey, do you know who what the betting odds are?
Oh, yeah.
Where's your intern, man?
Oh, he was the one with bad plan.
Oh, Lord. Hey, what is your intern's name? And I don't mean as I keep calling him intern because
That's what I do too, anyway.
Okay.
To make him earn us knowing his name.
There you
Gabriel
go.
Padilla.
the cage mine's intern. Well, because I was telling Whitney because she's like, why do you keep calling him intern? I said because when we do radio, that's what we call them. We don't call them by their names. We call them by a shit name and intern. Like something stupid and intern.
It's almost like the rookie, like the hazing. of the-
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's why I was doing it. Because to me, when you said intern, it took me back to radio.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, I wanted to, and so that's why. But what is his name?
Gabriel Padilla.
Gabriel Padilla. Gabriel, I hope you're watching, man. We miss you. I was looking for the betting, the odds, and who you picked and whatnot. So
Yeah, yours a minus 142 favorite. And then you have Ortega coming in as your plus 120 underdog.
That's pretty much a coin flip right there.
yeah, it's kind of like last week's.
Yes, definitely.
Last
There's
week's.
no overwhelming favorite on this one. I think probably the betting odds, the reason that it's like that, honestly, is because of the, because of the differences in the fighting styles.
Yeah,
We got an excellent grappler and jiu-jitsu artist against an excellent striker, so we're going to see whose game plan comes into play here.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna get out of the way so Micah can sit because they're better talkers than I am, especially with these new guys. According to my wife. And we ain't gonna talk about that. Bust it out later.
Who's we?
Oh, yeah.
We again?
We again. All of the we's.
So what do you think about the star that Merab Dvalishvili is trying to make into himself? You saw him. He's there
Yeah.
with the poncho.
Yeah.
Right? He took the Michael Jackson jacket from Sean O'Malley in the cage, and then he went and bought his own. He has his own flair to him.
Yeah, he's they're trying. They're all trying to get that niche, right? Like we just talked about. These young guys want it fast,
Well,
quick.
yes,
And
yes, that's what they
that's
want.
what he's doing.
Sometimes that's what it takes. You know what I mean? They're just taking, pages out of other people's books, man. Honestly, you know what I mean? They see what it takes. They see the stardom that they're able to do by doing these flashy big things. You know what the thing with Dvalishvili though is that whenever I see him, all I think of is I am hungry. I am hungry. He kept yelling that in an interview with, I believe it was Joe Rogan or Cormier. I can't remember who he was interviewing with that one time. And every time I was like, oh, I am hungry's fighting right on. You know what I mean? So that stuck in my mind when he did that.
You ever meet Yair when he was down here?
No, I actually did not meet him.
He was here. Goyito was here. They would all ride the yellow school bus.
So Goyito, Mowgli,
Yeah.
and there was also Urquidez.
Yeah.
I met all of them and interviewed all of them. Yair was like the only one I did not meet.
Yeah, man, they would all ride the yellow school bus from Cowboys Ranch. And it was literally the little yellow school bus, and then he changed it. Tap Out was making it their bus, and then, of course, Mask passed away, unfortunately, and then things changed. Of course, you know, the UFC went and changed everything with Reebok and whatnot.
These guys show great respect towards each other, man. You see
Yeah.
them in the ceremonial weigh-in, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Gave him a high-
hugging each other.
Yeah, gave him a
yeah.
high five on the way into the ring, you know what I'm saying? These guys have much respect for each other.
Definitely. 31, 33,
We got a good-
5'11", 5'8", 146, 146.
Pretty significant height and reach advantage in Yair's favor.
71 to 69. 16-4, and I didn't see T-City's record.
I missed it.
You know he's going to be throwing them kicks when he's stretching out like that.
definitely, man. He's got that long leg reach as well,
Yeah.
man. There's not a lot of people that talk about that, but that leg reach,
No,
it makes a difference in the fight.
it does if you know how to throw.
Yes.
If you just throw him, just to throw him, and you get in some danger. Oh, no, he hurt himself. No!
Are you
He
serious?
just hurt himself. Lord, he jumped up and down. He just fucking hurt himself. Look, he's shaking it out. He jumped up and down and he twisted his ankle.
Guess he won't be caught.
Oh, you're
Man.
dead. You just mentioned that about him being injury prone.
I know, man. What the heck?
Oh, that was like that 49ers player that was jumping up and down toward his Achilles
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
Right on the kickoff. Oh, he hurt himself.
Oh, no. That's up.
Lord,
Let's hope he's better right
no.
Let's hope he's better right now, you know?
No.
I like I said, I've been waiting for this fight. This is
Michael,
the
you
fight that I was
missed it. He's bouncing up and down in the corner and he twisted his ankle.
Yep.
serious. He's always shaking it out.
Oh, Lord.
Ortega already hurt himself.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on in,
It's
Jay.
not funny that I called this, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, calf kick.
You saw it.
right away.
You saw it right in his face, man. As soon as it happened, too. Like he's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he keeps trying to shake it out while Buffer's calling his name, and he's just shaking it and shaking it. It was
And
like,
if you're somebody in his corner, you're
Oh,
just
he's-
pointing at it. You're just
well,
pointing
you
at
know
it.
his cornermen. His cornermen are good dudes, all of them.
Hey, man, this is a fight. They're gonna take the advantages that they have. You know what I'm
We'll
saying?
see how he steps out. Let's see that first step right out the line.
Kind of flat-footed.
Yeah, he's gonna try. He's gonna try and hide it, but there ain't no hiding it.
It should have been that bad.
Enough where he's shaking it out.
He's coming back from injury, isn't he?
Yeah.
Off of a shoulder injury, so
Shoulder
it wasn't. It wasn't a
Well,
leg
now his
injury.
ankle's injured.
Yeah. It looks like he's moving okay right
Roll
now.
up.
before too.
Oh, he has.
Yeah,
Which
and he had
which
a-
leg? Do you know? Because
I
it was a
don't
right. It
recall.
was the right ankle that he was babying over there.
And he's had to have reconstructive surgery on both shoulders.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, injury prone, unfortunately.
Man, that was crazy to see him jump up and down and fold his ankle.
As long as his ankle doesn't break in the fight.
And it can. And it has. We've seen it.
Connor.
Yep. Hunter.
See?
There.
Right there.
Yep.
That was the right one. Okay, at least this is back leg. Not as easy to target with the low kicks.
But did he switch because of it?
Could have.
That's how it
No, I think he normally fights orthodox. Honestly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going
Oh.
to say. Good,
And he's
good
still got that
start.
chin, though.
Yeah.
It's because it's getting tested.
I mean, those are two clean shots
There
right
goes
there.
that front kick. There goes those kicks.
Yep.
Featherweight belt.
Taker's pressing a little bit. He's kind of pressing the action a bit, but there's a lot of good.
First
Counters.
low kick, and
Yeah.
you could see
Yeah.
the disbalance
Oh,
yeah.
of Ortega. 'cause
Yep.
he didn't have
He's
that other
landing.
leg.
He's landing those shots though, man. They're getting in there.
Yeah, but that low kick. Look at, and he's going right after those legs.
Oh, look at
Ooh, put him
that.
down.
Oh,
Oh!
Ortega just got. knocked out and brought back to life.
Oh, though.
Yair has
Let's
got
see.
to disengage from this
Yeah,
grappling.
definitely does.
In the clinch, he's landing knees
Oh, yeah,
right now.
right
Gotta
to the
get out.
bottom.
Oh, he's still stunned.
Still stunned. 1-2 lands.
Yep.
Another 1-2.
He's gonna put him down. You got to get out of there, man. Move.
Yair, big pressure trying to get in the pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
Right hand now.
He's
You can sense it.
he's hitting the mark every time. This guy's not getting off the center line at all.
Blood already coming from Ortega's nose.
Yeah, he looks tired already.
He does, big time.
Oh, man.
Oh, that narrowly.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's still hitting those body
these
shots.
knees, they're zapping it right out of him.
Why is he hanging on with him? Like, let go of him. You're beating the shit out of him.
Because he already
Stand
got
up.
knocked out by that straight left the second time it sent him.
No, I'm saying, yeah, here. Why
Yeah.
is he even
Oh,
disengaged? Push him off, smash his face, palm him,
uncomfortable in
move,
there.
get out of there. You're winning the stand up.
Yep.
Oh,
This is exactly where Yair wants to be. This is his fight right here, and that's what I was saying about the differences.
There's the regions you're talking
This
about.
is
down there.
Yair looking as good as he did against Josh Emmett.
Yeah.
Brandon's fighting Yair's fight right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, notice he can't move really. He's not moving around, and that could have been the ankle. That could be he's just gassed out already. I don't know. You know that Mexico City
Hey, those.
elevation.
Not only that, man, those body kicks, man.
Yeah.
He's hit him with like 5 or 6 of them already. You know what I mean? That takes the wind out of you right there.
Look, there goes
There
his
he goes
ankle.
again.
Oh,
Ortega on his back because he stumbled there.
Yeah.
People, if you're not watching this,
Yep.
he's kind of lost his ankle out from under him and went down to his left because he was falling that way.
absolutely. If I was Yair, I would just disengage, get up, get out of there.
Yeah, he's stuck
Just
in
slick on the
Ortega's
ground.
I don't know,
right
man.
now.
No, you
All right,
got
he's trying to
to
get out
slick
there.
on the ground, and you start doing this sloppy shit where you start throwing them punches like that. He's gonna throw a bad triangle. I'm not saying Yair's no slouch on the
slouch,
ground, but Brian Ortega's better on the ground.
We said how the game has transitioned away from specialists, but
Yeah.
Ortega's one of the guys you could still say his jiu-jitsu is specialized.
Yep. And again, Yair's winning on the feet. Disengage. Make him stand up with you. You know his foot's hurt. Go get him. Get out of there. Why are you even? Okay, I mean, I don't
I
know.
guess he feels safe right now. I'm
Yeah.
winning. I'm scoring, but you might have
But-
gotten out
And
of the
he's still
case.
landing.
But you see
He
the
is still
look at
landing.
you
Okay,
see
that's
that?
a bad mistake.
Those leg locks are coming. Then he's gonna back take him right there. It's not a good
So
at any
yeah, he
time.
just tried to step
Yep.
through, but gave his back behind.
Oh,
It don't matter.
Brian.
He's good with it right now.
He's fine. That might have been the best thing, actually. Is
Yep.
Brian tried to push him forward. If you can break the hands and separate,
That's what the announcer just said. Mistake by him by pushing him forward.
exactly. You already had his back. You already had him on the ground. There was no reason to do this.
But he's still on his back.
30 seconds for Yair to survive this tenuous position because
And that's
now
not good.
He just got tripped. He's mounted,
Yeah.
and he's got 15 seconds to try to not get arm triangle.
And he could put him to sleep in less than 15 seconds. You go to
10
sleep.
seconds.
5
and
seconds.
Yair is holding on for dear life. So big round one for Yair, but he could have had a first round
Yeah.
KO
Oh, yeah.
if we went back to the
Had he disengaged and stood up. Interesting first round.
You know, hopefully that his corner, which they probably will, tell him
Yeah.
if you have an opportunity to get disengaged and get your ass back up on your feet, you better do that.
Oh, yeah. He's winning the stand up. He'll lose on the ground against him.
Well, that's what we were talking about, the differences in the in the game. Who's fighting whose fight right now? You know, you're on the ground, you're fighting Ortega's fight. You're on your feet. Yeah, you're obviously has a clear advantage.
It's crazy. You have Tate from Albuquerque, and then you have Rob from Albuquerque as cutman in the UFC. Ain't that crazy?
That's good.
One
like
was,
it.
One was from Jackson's, the other one was from Fit.
Ah,
And they were cutmen and coaches, and now they travel with the UFC all over. I think they're full time, right?
Yeah, no, they're both full time. See them every event around the world.
Which is wild because he left AFD. He could have did 20 years and been retired. Potentially.
Oh, okay.
Potentially. Yeah, I'm talking to
Followed what he really wanted to do.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think he does some ambulance work out there also from time to
Okay.
time. Or you know how they do the IVs now? You can go to your room. I think
Oh
he does
yeah.
that. He's a
Okay.
paramedic.
So is that the next fight you guys are watching?
No.
Which one is that one?
Rosenstruck. That's I think that's
Next
a couple
weekend.
down the line. Is that the
Is
next?
that next weekend?
That's
Next fight night?
weekend. It's a fight night in the Apex.
Oh yeah, no. That was Apex is boring. It's just not a crowd. It's
Not the same level
No.
of competition either.
and I guess that's what they were gonna give Abu Dhabi, right? It's kind of like an Apex card.
No, it was gonna be
Was it a legit card?
a legit like out of the Apex fight night.
To
But
me,
there
this
wasn't a
ain't a
title.
fight night.
Oh, there you go.
This could be potentially a pay-per-view card. It really could have.
I think this could have. Yes.
They hadn't announced a main event or a co-main event for that card, so the way it was looking like a decent fight night card, but not up to the caliber of wanting a world title fight.
Look at that.
Jack almost has a left busted eye.
Yeah.
It's
He didn't even like shoot. He just went and grabbed it.
Push him off.
Oh Lord.
Uh oh.
Yeah, he
Dude,
was trying to
get
give
off.
Brian every opportunity to get back.
Yeah.
to the fight. His back on the cage.
No,
Not to
Nah,
take
you
his
don't
takedown.
got him. Sorry, bud.
I
don't think so.
Yair is trying a guillotine.
He's gonna be out of it very
on
soon.
Ortega.
I mean, he's off to
maybe.
the side. You know what I mean? Like,
This is.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell with the hands. Look at his hands.
Did Brian just go to sleep?
Yeah, I think he's out. He's out.
no, he's not.
Oh, no, there he
I
is. He
think he's
woke up.
playing games.
Oh, okay. It looked like
He's
that
playing
arm went.
games.
Well,
like he went
because
limp.
guys will do that. Guys will fake like they're going. They went limp, and then the guys let go. It
And you pop up
depends.
and you're
Yeah,
awake and it's a no contest.
yeah, and it's wild, but they play that game with each other. They really, really do. Like it happens sometimes. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've seen it with Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
well, I don't think that was a game though. I don't know what really
Oh
happened.
no,
there,
he was
but-
asleep. He was asleep.
I'll even take it farther
Robbie
back.
Lawler.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler. Ben was
Yeah,
asleep. Oh yeah, Ben was asleep.
he was
Oh,
mean.
there,
No,
Oh,
it was Robbie Lawler.
Or
Who,
Robbie was asleep. Yeah, no, he was asleep.
but I'll even go farther back. Matt Hughes, Carlos Newton. Carlos knocked his ass out. Matt Hughes slammed him. He just woke up first and won the title.
Yeah,
Go all the way back, old school. He was out cold.
so technically, he won because he got
It's
up
not
first.
faking, but what I'm saying is like right there when he laid there, it could have been perceived as he's out, and he might have loosened up just enough for a skilled jiu-jitsu guy to get out. And that's what I meant by that. It's not faking. I shouldn't say faking. Gotta watch my words. No, I always say what I mean. I mean what I say. Watch your tongue, woman. 2 minutes left. Man, this is Brian Ortega's round. He gave it to him.
Yeah, Yair has willingly grappled and engaged in this kind of fight.
And this is stupid of him. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's, I shouldn't say stupid. It's not a smart move on his part. He was dominating the stand-up.
It's not how I would have attacked this.
No.
If you're Yair in his corner, you want distance, you want him on his feet, and you want him able to let go of his combination.
He's got him
Well,
against the
this
cage,
is
just
exactly why
smashing him.
Ortega did come in and
Yeah.
pressed
Yeah.
right at the beginning of this round. Pressed and pressed and pressed.
And
He knew he had to close the distance. He's not as long as him, when it comes either to leg reach or arm reach. That's exactly what he needed to do. So his game plan came into play this second round.
And just having him up against the cage, just smashing on him. I mean, he's basically using that cage as another guy, basically holding him against it.
Yep.
And now the damage matches.
Yep.
Yair's busted up under his right eye.
And for what reason? Because you want to see if you can out grapple him.
I honestly
You were already out striking him.
I honestly think that
Yeah,
Ortega
played
just
on
played.
Yeah.
I think Ortega just came out better in the second round. Honestly, he pressed him, he got up close, grabbed him, and
Yeah.
he did what he wanted to do this second round.
Yeah.
has the elevation taken that much out of Rodriguez already after 5 minutes of that much that he put out.
It shouldn't. This is Mexico. This is where he's from. You know,
He
should-
lives there.
I believe so, right?
A lot of his camp is done in Chicago because
Is
that's
it?
where.
Oh,
Valley
that's
is.
right. Mike,
So he goes up to
Valley
Chicago
Fight,
a lot.
Or
So I'm not
Valles.
sure.
They're even lower than us.
Yeah. Well, it's 1-1. Going to 3.
And this is a 5-round fight.
Well, they're both bloody.
Both bloody. Both had a bad round.
Dom, tell us about the barbershop.
That's Barbershop in Albuquerque, man. Come check us out. Dapper Barber Parlor, 5836 Osuna Road Northeast. We do appointments and accept walk-ins also. There are 4 barbers right here now to be able to serve you. Men, women, children. Come on down. Come check us out. Sal comes and gets his hair cut by me. I just cut Ismail's hair today. Have a lot of good people that come around here. Very family-friendly atmosphere. We want everybody to be here.
Don't forget, going over, check out CageMinds.com. Latest in combat sports and entertainment news.
Booyah.
I must be starving.
Going into this next round, I mean, I think this is a big transition round where people have to make adjustments.
How hot do you think it is for Rey Mysterio to wear that mask all the time?
Oh, my
Like he's in that
goodness.
arena, he's just always wearing that mask.
I don't think I've ever seen his face.
Oh, you can find this on the internet. It's out there. You can take some photos.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to check it out right now. Here.
We froze. And I'm not talking about the stream here, guys. We're talking about the actual fight as round 3 is about to begin.
Oh.
Rodriguez is busted in his right eye, Ortega in his left.
Ortega hurt himself by jumping up and down, getting introduced by Bruce Buffer. That's embarrassing. Did you say Lee? What did you say, Lee? Michael, why do you think New Mexico promoters always put their events back to back to back to back with each other? Isn't that frustrating? Because they want people to show up to the fights. You got March, first week of April.
I think that we had everybody with the same mindset. I want to have a nice long vacation after the holidays, and then everyone started looking at the same calendar and timeline to want to get a fight going. They talk to the fighters that they haven't talked to at all, and everyone's got the same kind of timeline to be ready and prepared again.
So as the promoters and as the athletic commission, shouldn't they look at the calendar and say, hey, what's best for New Mexico? What's best to get as many eyeballs as possible on these and spread them out?
You would hope. You would think if you were the commission, if you wanted to take that, power and move things around, I would do it. Put 2 weeks in between some of these events because, as we said, I think the first 2 months of the year we've had no events, and then we're going to have 4 in about 4 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy, and people always say, "Oh, times are tough. Times are tough." Well, you're asking them to shell out money back-to-back nights. Then the weekish before, there's boxing. That's another event. You got the Battleground BJJ tournament coming up March 2nd. That's a pretty penny for all these guys that are competing.
Well, not everybody, how we do at Cage Minds, considers it all combat sports.
Sure.
Grappling's like that's MMA. Boxing's like that's MMA. We're different. So I think that's where you see the overlap is they don't understand. No, you're just grabbing from the same pool of fight fans.
Yeah.
Just because you're a slightly different fight business really doesn't change the fan that much.
See all the same fans at all the fights, whether it's bare knuckle fighting, whether it's a pro boxing event or a MMA event. It's majority of it is the same people that go and love the fights. That's the way it is here. And it just boggles my mind that these guys are still running back-to-back shows And I thought we got over that. I really did, and they're proving it that they're not.
I was shocked to see March 29th, March 30th. I think we're literally going to go back-to-back days where I was literally already having to tell Gabe, I'm like, if you think you're going to bare knuckle, you best make sure you're going over to the Fight World weigh-ins first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you got to cover or how do you stretch the news media? You want to support local. There's 2 local-ish events, meaning bare knuckle has all the local fighters. Fight World has been here forever. They are local 100%. And you still want to support them as well. You got the news media that needs to be there. How are you planning all this?
It's going to be a juggling act, not to mention, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing like an ESPN live radio show for 1017 The Team before the bare knuckle, because we've done that for the other big ones.
We missed it.
Brian Ortega, submission, arm triangle.
What did we call that?
First minute. The jiu-jitsu.
Dang it.
Rodriguez fell
I was just going for
Jiu-jitsu,
Mexico to
jiu-jitsu.
run the card, man.
I got to know what happened to... I got to rewatch that second round here.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's on ESPN Plus. We'll be able to rewind it.
16-3, 1 no contest. Where does it go from here?
Oh, man, that's a hard one. I'm guessing maybe Josh Emmett or something, because the amount of damage and how we saw him roll his ankle. I can't expect that this win is going to put Ortega right back in title contention.
Second next to Max Holloway and wins at featherweight.
Was that wins or finishes?
Is it finishes? Was it finishes?
I was going to say, there's no way.
I can't see.
And then second in submissions at featherweight.
Man glasses.
We got to seriously, probably, without even knowing how the finish played out,
Look,
say that this was all...
you were like, oh!
People did that the whole time.
Rolled over on it.
Yep.
Bad fight IQ on Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, 100%. Mike, you go back there and you yell at him and you tell him off. Come on, Mike, you had him. Your beautiful striking techniques that you teach all these guys. Son of a gun. And you had your guy, and your guy chose to grapple with this dude? Get out of here. That was ridiculous. Horrible. He had him. That first round, it could have been over.
That straight left was working. The 1-2s were working. I'm flustered as to come up with a reason for why you would change up the game plan and why do you engage in the grappling.
Sal, you're absolutely correct. In that first round, when the grappling did start engaging, when he was on top, stand up. Make the refs stand him up with you. You know what I mean? To get back in there.
Yep. Clinch, hang on to him, hold him.
That's just my idea.
Yep, there it is,
Right
Micah.
here.
And then, all day
He's
long.
mounted.
Now he's going to step to
yeah.
the side,
yep,
dig
step
to the
side,
mat,
that's it.
and there it is.
That was a good comeback.
But that's the way it works. And I what I mean by that is you push down, lock it in.
Mhm.
I used to tell my son Malachi, that when he loved to get that arm triangle. That's the only way I could get him to go off to the side, because he'd try and stay on top. And I tell him, transition to the side, dig into the mat. And he was like 6 years old. My dad was like, what are you telling him? And I'm like, I don't understand why he understands that, but shit, he does. I mean, he would do it and choke people out all day long. But that's the way I taught him, and he could still do it to this day. It's going to be interesting to see where they choose to place him next.
Yeah, they were talking about, title shot after this shot. Well, I think more for Yair than Brian. You know what I'm saying? So this kind of probably
Does this justify
stirs
it?
the pot just a little bit. I don't think so. Not for Brian Ortega. I don't think.
I don't think Brian Ortega gets a title shot right
No.
out of this.
Do you think Yair would have if he would have dominated?
If Yair would have dominated, if he got get it done in the first round, there would have been a possibility.
I didn't think the
Kinda
second
found
round.
fair. Yeah. Either way, if Yair would have got the stoppage, I think with him being the more active fighter, like I said, it's been a year and a half since we've seen Brian, and I want to say that it's actually 2 losses in a row for him, because I think it was the Yair fight with the dislocation, and then before that was his loss to Volk. So he's a while removed from a victory.
Yeah. Definitely. 5 rounds and only made it to 3.
So why was this a 5-round fight?
They asked for it to be a 5-round fight.
Oh, okay.
He's just showing up everywhere. He was at Karate Combat last night. Now he's there at the UFC. He's just having some good time.
Oh, like we said, the most marketable new fighter in the UFC. And also, that was an interesting thing. The UFC, it feels like UFC 299 coming up, they've been pushing Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
If you look and you go and look back at the highlights from when he won his title and you go look at last week's highlights, Ilya, who has more views. There's something like 700,000 views on Ilya's highlight video and only like 400,000 on Sean O'Malley's, which surprises me because as many times as I've been to Vegas, the kids really do love wearing his jerseys, running around Vegas. I thought that would have translated to him being one of the next guys.
Well, Aljamain Sterling said he was surprised. He was supposed to be getting this massive pay-per-view payday fighting. That's what they sold him on, fighting him, and he didn't get shit.
Really?
The pay-per-view numbers were not there that they projected
Well,
with
you know-
Sean O'Malley.
The thing with you're looking at the views as well too. Going back to that a little bit, Volkanovski is a superstar. You know what I mean? That may have, popped the views up a little bit just because. Oh my God, Volk lost to this guy? Who's he? Let me check this out. You know what I mean? And get online and check and see what the hell happened. You know what I mean? He was almost famed as the unbeatable 145 pounder.
Yeah.
They had built him up to that, the GOAT at 145 pounds.
And we never even got into it last week. Is he? Is he the GOAT at 45? I had to go back and look at it. I'm like, technically, Aldo has still one more championship
Yeah,
win in the UFC and those 3 in the WEC.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about these new people talking about who the GOAT is, who isn't.
Well, there's different eras.
We just talked about it. No, but Jose Aldo. From WEC to UFC, there was nobody more dominant than him.
No.
There was nobody. At 145, there was nobody. Now, did he go in with the wrong game plan against Conor McGregor? He went in with all emotion.
It was almost, definitely. He overextended himself right away. You know what I mean?
Had he not done that, little mistake. Notice he never got a rematch.
Well,
Why?
Conor didn't give anybody a rematch. Conor is the one guy.
Why would he give him a rematch? Because
Right.
he would have fixed his mistake.
I seriously believe, you know what I mean? You put 10 fights out there between the two guys, you know what I mean? Aldo wins 8 of them, you know what I'm saying? He went in there totally emotional. Conor got under his skin. It was obvious, and that's just what happened. I mean, we've seen that in all different forms of fighting, you know what I mean? People go into these fights emotional and they end up losing,
So is Volk one of the best 145ers? Yes. Is he the best ever? No, I still say Jose Aldo.
After looking back at the resume, I'd have to go Jose Aldo. He beat Frankie 2 times. You beat Chad 2 times, not to mention all the guys you laid waste to. You had to beat Cub Swanson to get to the title fight. And I got to apologize if the phone literally dies, people, before we get through the main event.
I mean, also, man, Max Holloway is out there too.
Yeah.
Bro. Max Holloway is great.
Yeah.
And like we said too, with Volkanovski, first fight could have gone either way. Second fight, I truthfully believe that Max won.
I think Max
Third fight,
won, too.
obviously,
2 of 3. I
Yeah.
think that's the way I feel.
So, did you guys hear the story from the second fight, Volkanovski's story?
No.
So after the third fight, because the third fight happened in Vegas, he's like, everybody, you guys want to hear a story? All right, what's the story? Well, the story is for the second fight out there, you know how they had the time difference all messed up, the weigh-ins, whatnot. He's like, I didn't sleep before the weigh-ins. After the weigh-ins, he's like, dude, I popped like 5 melatonin. I went to sleep. 2 hours later, USADA's beating down my door, and they made me get up, and then I had to stay up for 2 more hours to pee. So he said he never got back to sleep, and he just fought all fucked up that time. That he's like, I was all melatonin out, all... Ugh.
And that was the biggest gripe about USADA. They would show up like at 2 a.m, just banging on these dudes' doors, and they need to let them in. Like you can't, and it was just, it was stupid of them to do that. Like Go see him in the morning. These guys are training their asses off.
Yeah.
And,
For a huge
and-
event.
and not only that, but
This
even,
is their life.
even fight week. Like he just said, USADA's knocking on the door after weigh-ins. He's trying to rehydrate, rest, sleep, get his strength back, and you're knocking on the door. Ridiculous.
Still no, I don't know, man. There's no excuse
No,
on how that fight, just looking at the fight, no matter what happened to him personally or what he felt being in that fight, I don't know what the judges were watching that night, man. That was Max. That was highway robbery right there. You know what
That
I'm saying?
was a hard
So,
decision.
like when we're looking at, like we said, Volk is
it could be
widely
that.
renowned as the fucking, greatest 145 pounder of all time. Can't forget about Max Holloway and his title defenses and the great things that he's done and the resume that he has as well.
Let's stop right here. Let's pause. Micah, pick.
Okay, well, I was already wrong about the co-main event, just to reiterate it. Couldn't get them all right like I did last week.
Oh,
Went 5 for 5 on that one, but I'm going Brandon Moreno here. I think he's just too strong.
young sir.
Moreno or Royval?
I say Rayvon. His last fight he won, and he did show heart. He did show like he really wanted it. I think I got him.
I like Royval as a fighter. I
Yeah.
really do. I really
Colorado
do.
kid.
Brandon Moreno, though, man, seasoned fighter, you know what I mean, has been in some dog matches, has beaten some really good people. I got to go with the favorite here.
I have to agree with you and Micah. I do like Royval, Colorado kid, tough as nails. I think the experience in the wars that Moreno has been in, it's going to carry him over.
I agree.
He's so excited to get in there, he forgot to get greased up.
That fight against him, Moreno and Kai Kara, I feel like he was losing that fight, man, all the way up until the liver
Until
kick.
he landed that big body shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kai Kara looked like the sharper, more technical striker, and Brandon showed all that improvement under Safe Saud. The thing that worries me for Royval in this one is it's such a short turnaround. He had just lost when I was in Vegas for UFC 296 to Pantoja. Now, it wasn't like a damaging fight, but he did just lose a world title fight on a huge stage to turn around now to jump into a main event on short notice against a guy that beat you the first time. It's a lot of mental hurdles to overcome.
Definitely. Who was this originally scheduled for?
So instead of Brandon Royval, it was supposed to be Amir Albazi,
Oh,
who's
yes.
unbeaten in the flyweight division, but he got injured. So now we get to Royval versus Moreno. Winner will probably be headlining UFC 301 against Alexandre Pantoja. Unless Alex Bejeda really does get his wish and turns around and tries to fight again. I don't even know who would fight if he tried to do it that quickly.
Well, not only that, I mean, if he wins, I'm a Jamal Hill fan, bro.
Yeah.
I love his grit. He is such a dog in there, man. You know what I mean? Like he puts it all out on the line when he's out in that cage. I like Jamal Hill, and Pereira, superstar. You know what I mean? He's doing it all right. He's a class act. But I don't know. I really would like to see Jamal Hill come back and get a win over him. You know what I mean? That would kind of solidify how great he really is. You know what I'm saying? He was underrated for a long time until he got the title shot. Almost not necessarily unknown, but under the radar. He wasn't like a huge superstar or anything like that actually won the belt.
Pereira, he has so much experience. It's not that he has been more active right now in the UFC, and with Hill coming off of the injury, it's that Pereira has all that kickboxing experience at the highest levels that can possibly be, winning 2 world titles and 2 divisions in 2 different sports. It really is totally unheard of what he's been able to do. So I don't know if Hill is really going to have some kind of secret, some kind of trick. It has to be power or
But
deficits.
well, like I said, this is just me liking the fighter as being a dog. You know what I mean? The type of fighter that's going to go in there and give it his all. You know what I mean? He has been in some wars as well and has shown his grit to be able to, overcome these obstacles that have been put in front of him. And that's what it was. Straight grit and heart. And I think that's what I like about him. I don't get me wrong, I like Pereira too. He amazes me with the things that he does, especially with his body. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? You're able to get all the way down 185 pounds and win the title within 3 fights against arguably one of the best 185 pounders that's ever done it. And then also, you know what I mean, go up to the 205 division and win that as well. It's an impressive run. And like you said, a lot of tons of experience just in the fight game overall.
And on the Hill side, it's hard to think about just physically cleared the next day you're taking this fight. There's only a couple weeks to get ready. We're talking about April 13th. So we are 6 weeks away. This is an abbreviated, accelerated camp. I'm guessing he's getting a financial incentive on the back end,
Oh, I'm sure of it.
for doing this, but it's not an easy task, and it's one of those things where this will literally be historic if you can accomplish. Oh, look! I just blew my Achilles. I'm gonna come back and knock this guy out. And what kind of athlete will you look like after that? Is what worries me. Like, what does Hill look like as an athlete? Because his movement, his bounce, was such a big part of his game.
Right.
If he's at all, hampered by that lack of mobility, he's not going to be the same dude.
No, maybe not. You're right, though. This is historic for him. It's huge. It's huge for it's bigger for Hill than it is for Pereira. That's for damn sure.
And not to mention 8 months, 9 months to come back from blowing out your Achilles. That's usually a year, if not more than a year. At a point it was considered that was the end of your athletic career. You think about it for some sports. I'm back in 8 months and I'm fighting for the world title again. It's wow. It's really impressive just on that feat to see what Hill's doing.
Yeah. He's not the one to stray away from a fight. That's for dang sure.
Or a basketball game.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Michael, we got your phone charging. We're
not going to buy.
We're a little crooked, but that's okay.
We got
That's
our
fine.
engineer fixing it. Perfect.
Hey.
Right on.
Substitute.
See, and that was the part I've been surprised tonight. Not as much Josh slander as I would have expected. You were harder on him last week with him in front of us.
That's
It's easier. It reminds you.
That's because the 49ers suck. And it's his birthday. Huh? Oh, I don't care. They would all suck. Go
Happy birthday, Josh.
If they would have both lost, I would have been okay with that.
That would
Yeah,
be
me
Somehow, you know what I mean?
You got that 49ers thing?
Oh yes,
I love
yes. Bang bang, no Super Bowl ring.
Man, that's right.
Like I said, man, I was in Vegas for the Super Bowl, right? Tons and tons of Niners fans, exuberant Niners fans, screaming,
Before the game,
yelling
right?
before the game, yes. Before the game.
Be happy after.
Well, they disappeared. They took their.
Yeah, that's
their jerseys off.
exactly what happened. We're talking jerseys, hats, scarves, balloons, big fucking chains, everything, man. And then after the game, all that shit disappeared, man. You didn't see it for the rest of the weekend. I was like, oh, okay. Well.
Did you see the videos of Marshawn Lynch going up to the 49ers fans after the game? How'd the game go?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I love that guy, man.
What are you gonna tell him? You gonna say something to him? He'll run you over.
Right? How are you gonna say something that day?
Say something to him. You can't.
Mm-mm.
Hey man, what do you think about this attitude era coming back? Isn't it a feel to me? And I'm going back to the wrestling because it's TKO, UFC, WWE. You know what that felt like with The Rock? You remember the Nation of Domination with
Farouk and D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry.
that's what it felt like to me.
It was that and so much more. The Rock was in vintage Rock form. They must have found whatever writer was writing his old promos to get that guy out of
It's the guy,
retirement,
he came
bring him
up
in.
with that.
Yeah.
What's even more funny, I like the cousin. I don't know his name. The guy in the red, he can't hold his face for shit. This dude is laughing the whole time. The Rock's and he's over there like this, like he's trying to hide. And then they're all throwing up their hands with the right hand. He's the only dum-dum with the left hand up in the air like this. And it's just hilarious. I'm like, I wonder if he does it on purpose or if he just can't hold his face hearing them talk.
Oh no, there are videos of him and his brother not being able to hold it in, and people making them break character. Randy Orton's done it. If you know, he's style can be, and he's made them. This is something we're making the Usos laugh.
Oh, it makes me laugh so much. Here we go. Round one. Flyweights. Moreno. Royval.
Moreno was so calm before the fight. He was skipping. If you saw that in his squad, he was skipping back and forth.
Is it just me, or does Moreno look bigger than all fighters that he's fought except for Davidson?
Well, he doesn't look bigger than Royval to me.
He has wide shoulders and a wide back, so that really does help, I think.
I think the wars he's been in, I think that's why he's so calm now. I really do.
That many fights with Figueiredo when he was at the top of his game, and then Cara France.
And knowing that he gave it to him. When people were afraid of him, like the guys, not afraid, but he was dominating.
Yes,
guys.
he was.
And just to see him go in there, and I thought he won the first fight.
When they called it a draw?
Yeah.
So you thought Moreno won the first fight?
Oh, yeah. I thought he did enough to win that first fight. What did you think, Micah?
Oh, I had that one for Figueiredo. I thought Moreno was lucky he got the point deduction for the low blow early.
What was it?
I was okay with the draw. I was okay with the draw, honestly. I thought that was a pretty...
I lived with it. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
No,
It would have been worse